We got a special one today for y'all, y'all. We got a real good one today. We got my boy Damian Pearson. Did I say your name right?
Damian Pearson, you in there.
Known as Yella P to a lot of y'all around here in Memphis. Worldwide, you probably know him as Yella P also. We're not gonna get into a long introduction. We just gonna welcome Yella P to the podcast today, y'all. I appreciate you coming, bro.
What's up, my bro?
Yeah, so just for the sake of the camera, tell me and the people about yourself.
All right, for the people, I'm Memphis' own legendary Yella P. As a youth, I just always dreamed of really being a blues man.
Okay.
And keeping that tradition of telling stories within the, black stories, black music, and doing it a certain kind of way. And just from a young age, always been, I call it like enchanted by sound.
Okay.
So one of those instruments, of course, that caught my ear early was harmonica, man.
Okay. What was it about the harmonica that caught your ear?
It was just beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Around my house growing up, Saturday morning was cleanup time.
Okay.
And so moms, would open up all the curtains and would play WDIA All Blues Saturday.
Yep.
And I would hear them harmonicas and Muddy Waters. And one Saturday they played this album by Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
And it had fingertips on it. And I'm hearing all this harmonica and I'm like, I want to know what that is.
Yeah,
I'm hearing these sounds. I want to know what it is. Then eventually got to, I want to play that.
Yeah. My dad it's funny because that we're doing this because my dad loves the harmonica.
Oh, yeah.
And he play a little harmonica, a little guitar, but this you hear this, Dad, you're gonna be watching this. But he loved the harmonica, and the reason why I asked why the harmonica, because that's not a typical instrument. We usually want to grow up playing drums and piano, sax, but the harmonica, it's a very unique instrument. And I heard you spoke on the blues. What about the blues that just really got you into it?
Like I said, it was a certain sound, and really, I never really could put my finger on the sound, but it was just a certain sound within the music. Even being at church, hearing how my granddad and they'd be hollering, for real hollering, but in tune. But what about this music got you feeling like that?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with the blues.
You're right.
Just hearing the passion that was in the music.
Did you grow up in the church?
I grew up in the church.
Okay. Did you play in the church? Because I see you play several instruments.
I do. So
the main instrument, the harmonica.
The first instrument I ever picked up was drums when I was real little, but I never really did much with it.
Okay.
But I've explored piano, saxophone, trombone, harmonica, guitar, just anything. Like I say, I was seduced by sound. It make a sound, I play it.
When I hear you play a lot, I see you around with John Williams. We'll get into him in a minute. But you have a certain passion that I don't see from a lot of musicians. Some musicians, they get up there, they go through the motions, but you have a passion when you play. Can you describe a little bit where that passion comes from?
Like my heroes, like I said, Stevie Wonder, John Coltrane, who really used music as his passion, but as a way, like his magnum opus. It was almost spiritual, and I take that same passion to how I approach my instrument. Like I'm using the breath I breathe to play this. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So it's life connected to it.
You're right. Also with the harmonica, it's mostly associated with blues. The older guys, the original blues had more harmonica than you hear today. The blues of today, you won't hear it as much. You may hear it in folk music and stuff like that. But how do you merge the harmonica because you play soul and R&B and it's not just blues. Yeah. How do you merge the sound of the harmonica that's not usually used in R&B and soul? How do you merge that together?
So within that question, I think I'm hearing and keep it probably contemporary. Some of that just being here in Memphis, I would say my music has like 3 generations of Memphis in it, where we know Memphis, they say birthplace of rock and roll, home of the blues, but also the birthplace of what they call trap music. the birthplace of some heavy funk and soul. So just soaking, like I say, WDIA, soaking all this music up. And then, you know, in the 90s in the underground, when I was coming up, it was gangster rap. So hearing like the Player Flies or 666 or 8-Ball and MJG, and all that's in my sound.
Yeah.
So one of
I hear it. Yeah.
One of the first songs I learned on harmonica by ear was Mr. Big by 8-Ball and MJG. So it's just always was a part of my story. Like, you know, if I was at church, my church folks might not even knew I played harmonica.
But you was,
But I was, you know, so it was kind of like I was compartmentalizing, but just soaking it all up.
Let's speak on Memphis before we get into John Williams. Just being here in Memphis. I'm not from Memphis, but I noticed when I came here, music is everywhere. I met a guy one time and he told me, he said, man, every third person you meet is gonna be a musician or a singer, or they're gonna be related to somebody that's a musician and singer. And he was right. Can you tell us about the advantage of growing up in Memphis and just being surrounded by that culture?
One of the advantages is, like, we take it for granted, but everybody does music. So it forces you to do it at a certain level.
Right.
Because they gonna be like, nah, that ain't it.
That ain't it.
Go back to the woodshed. You know how it is. Go back, try again. Because everybody does sing. Everybody plays something.
They play something.
So,
you're right.
You know, you can get to comparing yourself, but also in Memphis, you know, it's about being original. So it help you find your own sound as well. Because it's like, you know, why you buying mine?
You're right. And there's a lot of that going on. Let's talk about John Williams. He's very important to the city of Memphis. He doesn't get the flowers that he needs, but we're gonna give him to him. We're gonna give him some today.
Give him a few.
Yeah, give him a few right now. Shout out to John Williams. Just give us a little bit about the influence that he's had on the live music scene here, because I know a lot of musicians that came under John Williams or played with John Williams at some point. So kind of give us a little insight into that.
Well, one, you know, I see him as, you know, the ultimate OG in the blues and funk scene. John Williams, as far as I know, he's had a consistent band since the 80s. So there's just one thing that's hard to do. And I've been with the band all year. Shout out to Smooth Living, MJG coming through a little bit later, man.
MJG coming, coming through. Here, 8-Ball.
Shout out to my guy, MJG. We at Smooth Living. But with John, so many people have come through that band, and just being consistent is one of the big things that I see with just playing with him and studying. Like every week since I've been in the band, it's been over 10 years.
Okay, wow.
We done did a show somewhere.
Man,
and so
that's
just
amazing.
Keeping the band playing is like keeping the band together. And so that's one thing. And then just some of the names that have come through, from Courtney Little, Marcus Scott, Yella P, Tyranny Jackson,
Big Baby.
Southern Avenue, Big Baby. It's so many names, instrumentalists who started, sub. Like, I've just met a plethora of top-notch, top-tier, world-class musicians hanging with John.
That's shout out to John Williams, y'all, because he deserves it. We got a few more questions, and we're gonna let you get out of here. Every Monday night, Smooth Living, come check Yella P out.
Come on out, we're shaking the blues. I'm celebrating the weekend early on a Monday.
You hear it. Yeah. Where did you get the name Yella P from?
All right, it's a long and a short story.
Okay.
All right, so we said at the beginning, my given name is Damian Pearson.
Right, okay.
And my initials are DP. I have a twin brother.
Okay.
And he plays saxophone and horns, and we were in the same band.
Okay.
And they would call both of us DP or DP1, DP2.
Yeah.
So twins are a little bit darker skinned to me. So it got to a point where they like, which twin do you want? And they like, we want Yellow Twin or Yella P. We want the Yellow Twin.
Wow, okay. So now y'all know where to get his name
from. So that's
from.
where it come from, long and the short.
You were at the FedEx Forum, and I saw you playing, I think it was before The Rock came out or something like that.
Yeah, I got
Explain
to play
how that
happened. Man, that's, you know, some people might just call it the universe.
Yeah.
Like, I had a show in Nashville. And before the show, I'm walking around to get some food, and I saw a guy I used to play with on Bill Street.
Okay.
He like, man, I live up here now, and we kind of chopped it up.
Yeah.
And if I got a business card on me, I'm gonna hand you a card.
Right.
So I gave him a business card, and from that chance encounter of me seeing a guy I used to play with on Bill Street. He got the card to somebody that got the card to somebody. They was coming to Memphis and they wanted some authentic, real Memphis blues and harmonica. And I ended up with an email. I'm like, y'all scamming. So I didn't believe it till I'm walking into the trailer.
Yeah.
And you know, he was sitting in there with a guitar in his hand. I'm like,
Wow.
oh, it must be real.
Wow. Now let's pause for a second. He just gave y'all a lesson. If you a serious musician, always keep your business card on you.
Come on.
Because you never know who
Never
may
know.
call you. Keep it handy. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to this. So how was it just, I mean, because The Rock is like legendary, man. I mean, like, he's bigger than life to some people. So how was just that experience? And at the FedEx Forum with a packed house. How was that? I know the energy had to be crazy and
The energy, everything was big.
Yeah.
Like we behind stage, so I'm seeing the wrestlers. When I met The Rock, you know, he was almost in the shirt and tie.
Yeah.
Chill. And we rehearsed a little bit. Then he come out, he got the baby oil on. So I'm tripping. I'm like, these folks really done got greased up. They ready. They're ready. And so just being in that moment was surreal. The crowd, it was packed out. Like Memphis is a wrestling city. So we had fans everywhere. I'm getting text messages. I was getting phone calls. Like, we see you on TV right now. And it happened so fast. I really wasn't able to tell people, like, I'm finna do this.
Yeah, wow.
But Memphis saw it, so it was just
that
a surreal
that was a
moment.
good look. You represented Memphis very well, brother. Appreciate
Thank you,
that. One more question. Everybody does their top 5 and top 10. I'm just gonna do top 3. Top 3 musical influences and your top 3 musicians. They can be the same person, but we're gonna start with the top 3 musicians first that influence you.
Top 3 musicians. Number 1, I would have to say Stevie Wonder. 2, Jimi Hendrix. 3, John Coltrane.
John Coltrane. Okay, now those are the top 3. Your influences or your top 3 musicians? Those were your influences.
A little bit of both.
A little
bit of both.
Let's say who are your top 3 musicians? If you could make an album and you could have 3 musicians on it, dead or alive, who would you put on it?
Wow. Let me go with a lot of y'all might not know Sonny Terry, old school harmonica player. He do the country blues. I would have to go with John Coltrane. Like, I would love to meet and just talk music, some music theory with him, and just talk music from the level he was at.
Yeah.
And number 3, I had to go with Jimmy. Like, he was such an innovator. I almost in the same vein as a Coltrane, just electrified it, but spaced out and on that journey and finding his sound. So I would love to meet with that guy. But alive, my top 3 as far as influence, I would have to say George Clinton as well.
George Clinton. I love George Clinton, man. Real music guy,
Real music.
And you have to be, I kind of nerd out, so you have to be really a music head to really know the influence, because a lot of people just know him from what they hear on the radio, but they don't really know the musical influence, that funk.
And he had them musicians.
Exactly.
Like Worrell, all these cats.
Exactly.
World-class,
Bootsy at one time, so he like I said, you would have to really know music, because like I said, a lot of people just know what they hear on the radio, but they go so deeper than that.
I be scratching beneath the surface.
Yeah. Okay, well, man, I appreciate this, man. I kind of got a feeling this won't be the last time we'll do this again. But before we get out of here, this may be an extended episode. I'm not gonna call it. We're supposed to have another guest coming in a minute, so hopefully he come in. But if not, we're gonna give Yella P a chance to take us out with a few seconds of whatever you want to do on the harmonica.
I got you. I'm gonna just play how I feel then.
Nice, man. Smooth, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you
Until
for
next
having
time,
me.
this is Joshua McCain. This is Yella P. What's your reason? See you next time.
Peace.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, bro.